Hello, Jamie. How are
Hi,
you
Rebecca.
today?
I'm doing good. What about you?
I had a pretty spicy day.
I
I've been
know.
a little up and down. Yeah.
You're a
But that's
spice
okay.
rack.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. But I'm really excited. This is our first episode of Slice Me Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have a really special, amazing guest, Shannon
hmm
Purser. She is the superstar actress of Riverdale and Stranger Things. But anyway, we're going to
Yeah.
get to that later. But for now, what are we going to talk about, Jamie?
We're gonna be talking about slicing and dicing. We are talking about MK Ultra, Montauk. We're talking about mind
Conspiracy.
control. And we're also gonna top it off with a little dose of acid. So yeah,
Yeah.
let's just dive into that.
We're going to dive in. You're going to get, if you're going to be watching this video, you're going to get to see us breaking into MK Ultra base Camp Hero in Montauk. It was a successful mission, I'd say.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we did it. We had a full team with us.
Yeah.
We broke some rules, jumped some fences, broke some hearts.
All right. Yeah, we did a lot of things and also came out alive to tell
Yeah.
the tale.
Yeah. And also to share with you a special, we've decided we're going to be sharing our favorite fact of the day every episode. Buckle up, bitches.
Yeah, buckle up, baby. Hi, I'm Jamie Montez, and I'm a scientist.
And I'm Rebecca Knox, and I'm an actress and filmmaker. And we are
Slice
Me
Nice.
So Jamie, what's your favorite fact of the day before we get into the details?
Favorite fact, random fact, is the smell of
The smell of what?
the new car scent?
No.
When you buy a new car,
Yeah.
or like the scent, and then like you can go buy them too, like
Yeah.
on those. That's actually made of literally 12 dozen different types of chemicals. That's my fact. Coming in hot, coming in fucking heavy.
Did you learn that when you went to the gas station today and were trying to pick out a fucking scent for your car, Jamie? Did you like
Absolutely
read the
not.
label? Where did you get that?
Well, I was in a pinch and I was like,
You were like, God, I need to figure out some fun fact.
I gotta figure it out.
Did you say 12,000?
I think it's 12 dozen.
Oh, I feel like
So
there are like
12,000
crackers that I eat that have 12 dozen chemicals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Diet Coke,
it's
my
like
favorite drink.
It's a hodgepodge. Okay. Rebs, what's your fact of the day that you came up with? Better be better than better.
It's pretty cool, actually. I was doing my regular scrolling through, you can guess, TikTok, not sponsored. They should pay me though. I was on TikTok and my algorithm is full of fun, weird, quirky facts.
Yeah.
And this chick comes on and she's like, have you ever heard of the myth of Nan Madol? It is artificial islands off the coast of Micronesia that the locals think were actually built by giants because they're so old, and it's kind of considered like a Venice of that part of the world. But it's like really old, and the rock, like the stones are so big that they literally don't know how they were built at that time. And there's like a whole myth about these two giants that built it, and also it's cursed. It is cursed.
This is not just a fact. This is like
no, it's a fact.
Yeah.
No, sorry. I know that's like a little tangent, but like I had to share it because I thought it was so cool. Like there's a curse and there are some explorers that went, and then they've all mysteriously died, and they have
How
not been
old is
able.
this? How old are these islands?
Thousands of years old,
And they're not real.
off the
They're
coast of Micronesia.
and they're
Maybe
artificially
they,
built.
yeah, maybe built by aliens.
Probably.
That's why I
Sounds
wanted
about
to bring
right.
it. Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
good.
I mean, just
Yeah.
like the pyramids of Egypt, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think
Same
that our
science.
facts kind of go together. Like I said chemicals and you said alien stuff.
Yeah.
Man-made things that are fucked.
Yeah. Pretty
Yeah.
cool though, and cursed.
That is really
you know.
cool.
So
That's really
anyway,
cool.
that's it. That's what I got. So should we get into our little facts? I mean, our fucking stories about.
Yeah, let's get
Yeah,
into the
okay.
actual the show.
Yeah, all right. The show is beginning. Yeah, so MK Ultra and LSD and mind control. So I grew up in Montauk, and there is this place called Camp Hero, and it's an abandoned military base. And there were always crazy stories growing up, and like people would always talk about trying to break in and all the creepy shit that's there, and like testing on children and all this stuff. And of course, growing up, for some reason I never went until Jamie came into my life, and all of a sudden I felt inspired to break in with her and learn about it for once. But yeah, it's like this military base from the 40s. It's really creepy and haunted looking. And essentially, there's a lot of conspiracy around how this place was a mecca for testing LSD and mind control on people, and especially actually children. And that's where Stranger Things got their whole inspiration from. Their story is from these conspiracy theories surrounding Camp Hero, which is so cool. So yeah, Jamie, do you want to like tell us about the mind control LSD portion?
The mastermind behind MK Ultra?
I mean, yeah, go for it, scientist.
Okay, so Sidney Gottlieb is a biochemist. He gets a grant around $300,000 from the CIA to buy the world's supply of LSD. He didn't know it was LSD at the time.
When is this happening?
This is the 1950s and 60s. Buys this LSD. Like I said, didn't know it was LSD at the time. He wanted to use it as a truth serum because he, at heart, is a spy. So this is why, like, one of his little mechanisms for working for the CIA. He gets the truth serum, distributes it to different labs across the country. He's doing universities, he's doing jails, mental institutions, and is pretty much bribing these people to conduct his experiment, but he's not really doing it the proper way. He's not taking data. He's not telling them how much to use daily. So he's just ramping these people up with LSD, large amounts of LSD. So when you have that much LSD, you're frying your brain. You're also creating a new pathway. We have two receptors in our brain. One we use quite often. LSD is going to attach itself to the serotonin and then use this other receptor to make a totally different pathway. And by doing that, he was able to rewire these people's brains into a little machine of his own little weapon.
But did it actually work? I mean, he was testing them to making them become machines, but they weren't machines. He was just creating new neural pathways. He didn't know what was going on.
He didn't know what was going on, like I said, because he didn't know what he was working with. So over time, he's bringing this to work and drugging his coworkers and, you know, seeing how they react to it. And then he's like, oh yeah, like this is actually mind control. I can use this as a weapon. So he's doing that. And he's also going, there's different spots that he had little bases at in New York, and other scientists who worked underneath him were conducting his experiments and using this LSD to interrogate other people that they thought, you know, had some kind of information that they needed. So long story long, this guy is a total madman using this drug, rewiring brains, making these weapons, and he doesn't really know what he's doing. And later on, people are, you know, having like fried brains and tripping. So,
and coming, you know, and having like flashbacks, right? Like that's where Stranger Things comes into play, because there's a lot of conspiracy around Camp Hero. and children being taken against their will and being tested on. Then this was led apparently or supposedly by Sidney Gottlieb. Of course, none of this is confirmed. The CIA doesn't want to confirm it because that's a massive lawsuit. That's many lawsuits, I'm assuming, and also child abuse.
Yeah. So then he gets these kids, and I'm assuming the reason why he's so interested in these kids is because they have baby brains. Nothing is actually developed. We have developed brains, obviously, and he's probably thinking, wow, I can actually make this my own brain and do what I want with it. So that's kind of, I think, the point or the end goal with, bringing these kids in. And also back in the day, I think I read somewhere that these kids that he was getting like for research, he was just plucking them out of like orphanages and paying them, and so there was no one that was looking for them. So he couldn't ever get traced back to like kidnapping or like child abuse or anything like that because they didn't have anyone. So a lot of his victims were actually like kids who didn't have families, or homeless people, or people who were criminally insane, that no one kind of like, they had to like, they turned their what is it, like a side eye or turn their cheek,
turned a cheek.
Turn a cheek,
that sounds right.
Yeah, I think so. So no one really went back and was like, hey, where is this person? Like, what is actually happening here? We need to investigate because this guy is a monster.
Yeah.
I
mean, I don't know if I mentioned this, but there is a guy who works at Camp Hero now that has been getting these flashbacks, and he did an interview for the New York Post where he's like, I believe I was one of those kids that was tested on because I'm getting all of these memories of, being inside the campgrounds. And it's crazy that now he works there.
Yeah.
He like takes care of the grounds. Interesting,
Is that like Stockholm syndrome?
I was just gonna say it's like Stockholm syndrome. It's like you go to the person that kidnaps you, and then you work for them willingly.
And you get tortured, and you're like, yeah, I like this feeling.
Yeah, this is all I know. Oh my God, that's so sad. That's so dark.
It is sad, and it's really dark. And unfortunately, like there's so many people, so many victims that this guy has come encounter with, and they are now just getting a lot of their memories back, and they're being triggered by things because their brains were rewired. Mind control. It's fucked up.
Well, it didn't work. The mind control didn't work. He wanted it. Yeah.
And he was just frying people's brains like eggs, sunny side up.
I like my sunny side up, a little runny. Yeah.
Dipping the toast in there. So
I actually heard of this guy once, a friend of a friend who took too much acid, and now he's fried his brain to the point where every time he walks on a sidewalk, if he gets too close to the ledge, he thinks he's going to spill over because he thinks he's a glass of water.
Oh, that sounds about right. Checks out. Checks.
Yeah.
Have you ever done acid?
Yeah, I did in college, actually. When I was 18, I went to Oberlin and I just experimented. I was dating this gorgeous boy who wore like these beautiful floral dresses. And the second I saw him across the field, I was like, you, me, done.
You're the one.
It's us.
You're the one.
It's us. Yeah. I mean, I was so into it. Pink nail polish, blonde. I mean, beautiful, beautiful. Anyway, he and I decided to take acid, and we did, and we took a lot of it. And I remember you
rewired your brain.
Yeah, definitely. Don't know what, why, or went where, but woo, woo.
The red and the red and the blue, and then we're gonna tie it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's but yeah, so we were like lying down in this little tiny like twin bed, because obviously college, and in it like a trap house that he was living in.
Oh, I love trap houses.
Yeah, it really just reminds me of my youth. But anyway, yeah, we're lying there staring at each other, and I remember all of a sudden noticing that his eyes were like getting really big, and I could like, his skin became transparent, and I could see like the veins under his skin, and like, it just kind of like him as an organism. And I just remember it being beautiful. Like I saw purples and greens and blues, and we were just staring at each other for a while, and then he like looked at
Mhm.
me. He's like, "Should we rip up all of my ex-girlfriend's poems she wrote
Yeah.
to me?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And that's how it went. So it was
Yeah.
great. Yeah, I haven't
Oh, yeah.
done like I haven't gone that far since
Yeah.
that night. Like that was like my real like tripping moment.
That was your
But
real trip because you had a lot of
yeah.
it.
What about
Mhm.
you, Jamie?
I've never had a real trip. I've only
Oh,
microdosed. So I don't
okay.
have the experience of being like, oh, I was, kind of like you did. Mine was literally the complete opposite. It was more or less like very feeling like I released a lot of stuff. I released a lot of I was going through a lot of mental issues.
Still are, just
Still
like
am,
we both
baby.
are. Yeah, we
Still
both are.
am. Hear
Yeah.
ye, hear ye. I'm not well. But I was definitely needing something to help me, and that did. And I was more or less like, I felt a release. I felt really happy. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was nice. I was still able to function and talk, and I didn't have any kind of a trip where I was like hallucinating essentially. So
Yeah, where you could
mine was
see the
really, yeah,
insides of your
yeah,
boyfriend in front of you.
yeah. So mine was really nice and pleasant, and every time I do it after that, like I seem to still have the same kind of, feeling of just kind of like light and
Euphoria.
yeah, euphoria. But I guess the last time was not that good, but it's a little sketch on
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
the
mm-hmm.
source of it. So
Yeah. Yeah. I know the source and no one else here will. But anyway,
yeah, we
be
can't do
careful
that.
where you acquire things. That's
Yeah.
all we're gonna say, Jamie. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I think that we wrapped it up in a nice bow. If you really want to know like the nitty-gritty facts about how like things really go down like in your brain and sciencey, you can Google it. Okay. Like
Google it because I tried to explain it and it
I
was,
got lost. It's too
yeah.
much. You can
So
go Google it, honeys, darlings, alien children.
Google it. It's really cool. It's a fun fact.
It's fun. And honestly, I'm so excited for you guys to now listen to us interview my favorite actress of the moment, Shannon Purser, and also actor, magician,
Yeah.
spiritual goddess.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And we're gonna talk through our journey into the unknown and breaking into Camp Hero, jumping over fences that say you will be prosecuted, which is what we did. So anyway, without further ado, Jamie.
Lights, camera, action.
Mhm. Period. Period. Hello, Shannon Purser. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks
for coming on board.
on.
So, Shannon, you and we've been good friends for a while. Jamie, this is your first time meeting Shannon. But I
Yes.
think what Shannon and I bonded over, I think the first few times we hung out, is that we realized that we both had this mutual interest in spirituality and the unknown and aliens. And this is really great. But Shannon and I have actually meditated to aliens together.
Yeah, I will never forget that night, I don't think, for the rest of my life.
Yeah, we all actually ended up seeing the same thing. We have to do it again.
We should. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I mean, Gustav was out of town, but we will go. Wait, Jamie, what?
Oh,
we're going to all
hell
do this.
yeah.
Great.
We should
Yeah,
go-
let's
we're
go
gonna do it.
meditate to aliens.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Okay, so tell us about your spiritual journey.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that's a great question. I grew up like very Christian, very strictly religious, sort of evangelical family. So I had spirituality in the sense of like biblical spirituality. I believed in God and the Holy Spirit. And but like anything outside of that realm was like always kind of discouraged. I remember like I had to fight my parents just to be able to read Harry Potter, because at the time they were like, oh, this is witchcraft, it's evil. But they finally like gave in. And just from like a super young age, I was always really into like witchy things and fantasy. Like I was that weird kid who would go in the backyard and like try to talk to fairies, and like I fully believed in mermaids for too long.
I think
So
maybe
yeah,
we should still believe in fairies and
Yeah.
mermaids.
who's to say, right? Like the earth
Who's
is
to
so vast. There could be some.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Multidimensional.
oh, absolutely. I think like I just never lost that. And even though there was a while I kind of like put that away in favor of being like more religious. Over the past few years, after kind of like leaving the church and leaving kind of like organized religion, I've still kind of maintained that interest in spirituality. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think that I could really put a label on exactly what I believe, but I do think that there's just so much that we don't know. And the universe is so magical and fascinating. So I'm just having a good time, like exploring it all,
I
Good.
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, do you want to talk to us about your feelings on extraterrestrials and aliens and space?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, so yeah, meditating to aliens, that's like the first time I'd ever really thought about extraterrestrials, I guess. I mean, I think
Really?
there's always, well, I've thought about them before in terms of like, aliens are like kind of like hokey and ridiculous, but like, I think, a few years ago, I was like, well, who's to say, like, why is it so ridiculous to think that there might be like life outside of this world or
Mhm.
our galaxy? Um, so yeah, I don't know exactly where I stand on it. Like I think it's probably super likely that there is, other life outside of Earth. Um, but I'm willing to try like anything once. So like
Mhm.
I will
Or
meditate to
twice.
aliens, and look, I mean, you and I definitely saw something in the
We saw
sky.
something at the same time.
Yeah.
So basically so Gustavo is a friend of ours, and for those who are listening and don't know who this person is a friend of ours, and we decided to drive out to the national park. What's the park called?
I think it was the Angeles National Forest.
Right. Yeah. So we drove out there. We left at 10 p.m. on a Monday. So it was supposed to be quiet. And we parked at this one location in there, and people were drag racing. And it was
Yeah.
giving me tremendous anxiety. I am the kind of person who sees demons in darkness. So I was like, there are eyes on us. Someone is going to come here, and this is the end. This is how the horror movie starts. But we decided to move, and then we actually succeeded. I think you want to say the rest, what we saw?
Yeah, we had to like change locations because there were a bunch of people drag racing, and then like one car pulled up to where we were sitting and was very creepy. So we're
Intimidated
like,
us out
yeah,
of our spot. Yeah,
it
this
was
car just
super
drove
scary.
up to us and had the like headlights on us. And I was like, it just wouldn't move. But no one got out of the car, but the headlights were just on us really close. And I was like, it's time to go.
Time to go.
Yeah, definitely.
It was terrifying.
Once we got to the second place though, we like figured it out. And yeah, I think Gustavo was the one who like told us both about this.
Yeah.
There's like a meditation you have to listen to, I guess, to
CE5.
like, yeah, kind of like align your frequencies or open your mind, I guess. I'm not sure I know the science
Mhm.
behind it really, but we just like
No.
laid there and did this meditation.
I definitely fell asleep.
Yeah, I think at one point you did pass out.
I did. I was so relaxed.
You were just really in it. Like,
But then I woke up again. And
how long do you think the meditation lasted? Was it like,
I don't know. I think it was like 45 minutes.
yeah, maybe. But I think it got like towards the end, maybe, and we both had our eyes open.
Mhm.
And I just remember like looking out like the windshield to like the left
Mhm.
side of my car, and there was like, it was almost like a star fell,
Like an
there was
orange.
something's like streaked not
Mhm.
across the sky though. It was like
It was
down, right? Like it had
down.
like
Yeah.
fallen.
Yeah. It
Um,
was like an orange light that fell, which
it
was
was
crazy.
weird.
Gustavo saw it too.
Yeah. And I'm
I
like, what
know.
are the chances that we were both like looking in the right place at the right time? Like, I don't know. It was bizarre.
It was bizarre, but it was so cool. And I'm so glad that we had that experience. And we're definitely the three of
Yeah,
us
I'm
gonna do
like
this.
super excited because do you remember when you picked me up in the summertime to go when we were driving back and it was like what time was it, like 2 a.m, and we
Yeah.
were driving, it was so dark and
Again, it was a light drop.
it was a light and I was like, oh, because I was traveling all day and I was like, I'm tired. And I looked at you and I'm like, did you see that? And because wait, no, I didn't say anything. You mentioned it to me and I was like, holy shit. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
I
did you
saw
see
the
that?
same thing. So it's definitely weird. It's like, I guess like one for me, especially like once I saw that, I was like on the look, like, like is something,
Yeah.
what else am I going to see? Do you feel like that now? Like, since that happened, that experience, are you kind of like, I wonder, like if I
Looking
were to
for it?
yeah.
I don't know. Are you like, I feel like I
Yeah.
haven't really had the experience to like, I haven't really like stargazed since then.
All I do is like, is that,
Yeah.
was that,
Like,
no.
what is that?
Yeah, I'm like trying to see something, bringing myself to total oblivion. I'm just
Yeah.
driving myself nuts, like
Yeah.
looking in dark forest areas. Like,
Yeah.
do I see something? Do I? Is
You're
that
like
a ghost?
ready.
In like in your
Yeah.
dark rooms, just like, what is that? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, anything weird. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. So back to this whole episode topic, which is Camp Hero and MK Ultra.
Yeah.
Which, I grew up on Long Island where Camp Hero is, and it's abandoned and all that. So basically there is this rumor that Stranger Things was based off of this story about these kids that were kidnapped and brought to this camp. And what did you know anything about that? Because, being on the show, or like, did you guys ever talk about that? Did you know? Is this all new to you?
No, I definitely like remember hearing about the idea that, MK Ultra specifically had really kind of inspired Stranger Things. And I remember when I auditioned for the show, it wasn't initially called Stranger Things. It was called Montauk, and it was supposed to take place on Montauk.
Okay, that's cool.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think like they in the beginning probably really wanted to lean heavily into like the MK Ultra of it all. And then I think, as shows do, as it progressed, it changed a little bit.
Mhm.
But they definitely kept a lot of that. I mean, like all the experimentation and like the drug type trials. Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, I hadn't really heard of MK Ultra or like, the government like drug testing experiments before Stranger Things. And I remember looking it up and just being so shocked. Like I couldn't really believe that this had actually happened. It's
Yeah.
pretty incredible.
You know what? This actually leads to a very good question. Ethically, do you think it is ethical to test on children for the sake of the betterment of understanding the human brain, or do you think it's best that we just not go there at all?
Oh God.
Can I put more into the question? Can I add
yeah.
a little
We talked
spice?
about this.
Yeah. And this is my take. Given what we know now, like if we were in today's time with children, if they suffered from any kind of anxiety or depression or mental illness, would it be okay? And this is it's like it's a catch-22. I'm playing devil's advocate here. If you were a parent and you had a child that was suffering from something like this, would you be open to putting your child in kind of a test, drug trial testing with LSD to help with these, kind of, I don't know what the word is for it, but elements? Would it be an element?
Well,
That's a good question. I mean, definitely like I am for the benefit of, mankind. And I think there's a lot of research to be done, but I just don't know if I could stomach it, like, especially children, when you're an adult and you can volunteer for these sorts of things of your own free will and make an informed decision, I think that's cool. And that's really brave to volunteer to do something like that. But yeah, I just don't think as a parent, I could allow my kid to do that.
And what if your child was really naughty though? I'm joking.
Well, no, but I mean, think about this. I mean, I know for a fact, like there are very young children being given very large doses of Adderall, and those are forming brains. And I don't even know if anyone's done enough research on the long-term side effects of that, because it's the prefrontal cortex that's like that gets dehydrated. I don't know. I'm not going to go into the science.
It's essentially a sponge.
Yeah,
it's growing at this time, right? So it's like every part of your life, and so you develop identity, you develop a lot of important things that you would need. And so once you have large amounts of drugs, how is that altering it? And so that's why I feel like that's why I took my stance on. Well,
maybe microdosing I think could be, but again, a child is a child. It's like I think as a parent have to make the executive decision, and unfortunately, a lot of parents don't. Don't,
because it's like, oh yeah, it's cool. It's like, whatever. It's, a lot of kids are being treated with this for, ADHD and yada, yada, yada. But a lot of times they don't know the alternative drugs or something like that because there hasn't been enough research on it. And exactly. So it's definitely, it's just like I said, it's like a weird, catch-22 where it's like you have people that are like, oh, these kids are fine and nothing's happened to them and no one's like hallucinating, so this drug might be okay or is okay to use, you know what I mean? So it's just like,
whatever. It's so hard to say, right? Because like obviously if you're gonna give a drug to your child, you want to have as much knowledge as humanly possible. But then how do you get that knowledge without, some type of trial or experimentation? Like, I don't know. I'm really glad that I'm not a scientist.
She's a scientist. Let's leave it to
her. I am a scientist. But I have a mind where it's like, I am seeing both parts, right? Like I understand how it is problematic and like, worried, but I also would understand like in order to get to that point to know, you have to do it.
Yeah, so, but then we can go down this rabbit hole, which we won't, because this is a topic for another time. But it's like the pharmaceutical industry and pushing drugs for the sake of
it's a money maker. It's money.
That's where it's like why is half of the population addicted to opioids? So anyway, that is another conversation for another time. Anyway,
not us.
Yeah. Anyway, without further ado, should we take a look at the footage of us breaking into Camp Hero?
Oh, wait, so Shannon, have you seen the property like Camp Hero when you were like researching and stuff like that? Do you know any kind of like what it looks like?
No, I don't really know anything. Where is this?
It's in Montauk.
Okay.
All right, so
you're about to
I'm very
your
excited.
eyes. This is real scientific field work.
This is field work, but also everyone like it's funny. It was fun to do,
Let's just watch it, Jamie. Let's just do it. Let's just see how it goes. All right.
Okay.
All right, here we are. Added some good music.
Yeah.
This is what it looks like driving up to it. This is Camp Hero. Yeah. I edited this myself.
So that's us.
That's a boarded up military base. Yeah, we're dressed in black.
You look great.
Thanks. So there were a lot of signs everywhere that there's like surveillance and you're going to get arrested or, fined or area closed. Violators will be prosecuted. That's our bodyguard. Yeah.
He actually works there.
Yeah. So we decided to just go for it. There wasn't really anyone on the premise at the time. Yeah, super creepy
Wow.
though.
Were you guys like scared at all?
Yes, I mean, I
Kind
didn't feel
of.
good. I think I was just hungover, so I think my inhibitions were really not there. So that's me just really not
So
being
this is just
graceful.
kind of this is a
Jumping.
daily thing. But we keep on zooming into the backdrop. You can see not the backdrop, but the area that is this tower is it's can you explain it a little bit
Oh
more?
yeah,
Like
there's
that
so
little tower thing.
this is like a whole military base, and
Yeah.
they wanted it to look like there are a lot of weird buildings on the property that look like normal like little cottages because they wanted the civilians who lived in town in Montauk to not feel threatened by this massive military base. But I mean, look at this thing. It's terrifying. It's creepy as hell.
Yeah.
It's ominous.
There's
Like
just
it's
something
just
really sinister about it.
it is sinister. And this is where they apparently were testing on children. I think, obviously a lot of people have like broken in and done a lot of graffiti, but Jamie had this stupid idea to go through that hole. I was never gonna do that. I was
Well,
never gonna
because it's
climb
like
it.
there was like buildings that had people were breaking in and like there's something in there, obviously. But
Apparently like really gnarly fungus is growing inside
yeah.
and you will die.
Oh.
But maybe that's just a
It's
a
an urban legend, I
rumor,
think.
urban
It is.
or I
There's
don't know.
the tower,
Yeah, to
the
keep
radio
people out.
tower. But
Yeah, the
it
camera guy
like,
was so
this
scared
guy.
he's shaking.
But there's like all these different kinds of like weird buildings that make no
Oh yeah,
sense.
there's something that's going to be coming up soon called Downtown. Oh yeah, see, look, MK Ultra.
Someone's house.
Ooh,
A
spooky.
fake house. Yeah, so we left that area and then we went to this place called, oh yeah, that's our on-site EMT right there.
We have an on-site. We had a whole team.
Wow, that's incredible. You guys were super prepared.
We're prepared. We are prepared.
So this is okay. This next part is called Downtown Camp Hero.
Yeah.
They created a fake town. It obviously probably looked a lot better back in the day, but it was like a fake town. So it like looked all friendly on the outside, even though they were just testing on people on the
I'm gonna
inside.
throw my birthday party there.
Yeah, I love how they're like, this is totally fine and not suspicious at all. Like
Yeah, they had like a fake church. They had like a fake recreational center. I mean, this is all falling to pieces now.
So this, I want to say, there's obviously you see that hole, and inside it looked like it was like just a normal, like a dorm, like a college dorm. And so I was like, word, I'm gonna jump in there. And then we shine the light and
it's no
there's
floor.
No floors.
Oh, see, these are bunker openings. Like in the hills of Montauk, there are these closed off military base like doorways that have been cemented shut, but they are like bunkers built into the hills. Like, look at how creepy this is. That used to be an opening to a bunker in World War II. Yeah, portal.
wow.
This is the surrounding area.
Yeah, this is we're gonna take a deep dive.
Montauk is beautiful.
Yeah.
So when was this happening? Wasn't it like the 50s and 60s or
50s and 60s? The military base was built in the 40s and they started MK Ultra in the 40s and 50s. And actually, rumor has it the testing on children was happening even as late as the 80s, because there are some people that have come forward and said, hey, I have these memories coming back of being taken to this military base and being tested on at 12 and 13 years old. And this was in the early 80s. So, but of course, this is always a conspiracy theory. That's what's, yeah. I'm having a great time. But yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. Actually, I went on Instagram and I saw someone broke in and I wrote to them and I was like, hey, I'll pause this so we can read it. So I asked this guy who posted a photo if he broke in. He was like, broke in? Ha, no, I actually work for the New York State Parks. I went inside bunker 113 with a hazmat team taking annual samples. It's damp, moldy, and dark. They are empty except for some old pallets, a rotten old chair, and paint cans. Some white fuzz growing on walls as well. The radar tower is actually dangerous with falling metal and stairs to top missing in sections. Black mold as well. Sorry to be a buzzkill, but that's what it is. And I was like, oh, damn, that makes me seem like I was like, oh, we just told a park ranger we broke in.
Yeah.
Well, at least he was cool about it.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's that. So here we are. What are your thoughts?
That is, I mean, very brave of you. Like, I don't know, maybe it's because I grew up like so repressed that I'm like, oh God, like so scary. What if I got caught? But no, I think that's super cool. I've always had this kind of like fascination with abandoned buildings and stuff. And I guess this ties into like the spirituality, but I really do think you can kind of feel like a residual, I don't know, vibe or like energy of things that have happened there. I think it probably feels so ominous for a reason.
Yeah.
It's scary. Yeah, it's like haunting to think about not only what we know happened, but all the things that we don't know and probably won't.
And also, you know, how many people have been shut down who've come forward about this specific place and they've all been deemed crazy. But there are literally a few people that have written books about it. So definitely walking on the grounds, there was a dark energy. I don't know if you would agree with that, Jamie.
Oh yeah,
There
for
was-
sure. It was definitely dark and like hidden, like anything that could possibly be dug up by people, memories or something. It was just shut down. And as you can see, it's just like, what is
Also,
going
like,
on?
there could be so many bunkers that we were walking over. And
Oh,
we
yeah.
have no idea what's underneath.
It's like
the
catacombs
surface.
down there. Yeah.
Oh my God. And all the, you know, apparent white fuzz that's growing inside. I mean, obviously we did contemplate going in, and then our camera guy, Sam, was like, you know what? I think hazmat suits, it's kind of dangerous. I'd say no. And I am really glad we didn't do that, Jamie.
Yeah, I know that, but I kind
are-
of really wanted to. Wait, but didn't you have someone say something about like they broke in and then they had they found computers and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, there was well, this was I was taking some kind of workout class when I was back home, and the teacher was like, "Oh, you're going to Camp Hero? My friend actually broke in and he saw a lot of like abandoned Soviet computers and like really yeah, but I tried to get in touch with them, but then radio silence. Dun dun dun. Don't know. We will never know.
Never know.
But yeah, it was fun, and I'm so glad that you are the first person who has, and maybe
Seen
the
it.
only person who is gonna see that. But anyway,
No, I think that's so cool. Like, I don't know. I'm just fascinated by history. I had like a big X-Files phase growing up, so this feels like very on brand for me. I'm always like, what's out there that we don't know about? Like, I do feel like we're just scratching the surface a lot of times.
100% are. And it's like, you know, what just came to mind is that experience we had, Jamie, going to Camp Hero. That was like going and seeing a what's it called? What's the thing that the Titanic broken
iceberg?
Iceberg?
Yeah. Yeah, an iceberg. It's like we just saw the tip of the iceberg.
We did.
I
It
mean,
was crazy.
like the first inch of an iceberg,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah. So
Are there any
Shannon,
closing? Wait, do you have another question?
I have just like a little question. So
Yeah, go for
seeing
it.
this and like being like working on Stranger Things, what is your brain like, whoa, this is like actually kind of like real shit that happened? And I don't know. I feel like I would be like, I think it would be cool to be a part of something that's kind of like bringing some kind of a history or like
Awareness.
just gnarly shit. Yeah. To, you know, people, and just kind of being like, hey, listen, like this is the thing, but also putting a twist on it, obviously. But you know,
Yeah, I mean, I love sci-fi, and I think part of the reason why it's so popular as a genre is because like there is this element of truth to it. You know, like when I think about like kind of the big like sci-fi boom that happened in film in the 80s, like E.T., you know, like I do wonder, you know, if any of this was kind of motivated by knowledge of these kind of events or experiments that happened. And yeah, definitely like being on the set. I mean, artistically, it was such an incredible show. Everything felt so real and grounded. So it's not like unbelievable to me that there's things like this that could have happened and probably did happen, you know?
Yeah. Did any of your like castmates, like, were they into this? You know, did they know about it?
I think they knew a little bit about it, but I know like the Duffer Brothers who created the show were very interested in it. I think probably somewhere in my email I still have like the original documents from Stranger Things, like the sort of like pitch of the show, back when it was Montauk. And
That's
I
so
do remember
cool. I had
them.
no
Oh
idea.
yeah.
Yeah, I do
That's so
remember them
cool.
like writing about how they were really inspired by that era. So I know that they were very much like really big nerds about all of that. And this has
As are
definitely
we
like
all.
inspired me. Like I'm gonna go look up all this stuff now. I'm fascinated.
Oh, well, you know what? I mean, we kind of we talk like very vaguely about
It's very
stuff.
loose. Yeah. It's
Loose,
like,
yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
just-
mean, you'll hear the rest of the episode and we get into it a little bit. So anyway, Shannon, thank you so much for joining us. Are
Yes,
there
thank
any
you.
final remarks or anything that you want anyone listening to know?
Oh gosh. I don't know. It feels like weird to like plug myself, but that's but thank you just for having me. This has been really like cool and interesting, and I'm excited to hear the finished product.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
It was nice meeting you.
Nice to meet
and
you
it was
too.
so nice chatting, and I will see you later for Denny, baby. Denny,
All
baby. That's right. I'm smooth like a criminal.
Oh. All right. Well, thanks so much for talking to us and giving us a little piece of your life, I guess, your history and insight. So it was really cool. So
Of course. No, thank
right.
you.
bye.
Bye.
May the peace be with you.
Yeah. May the
I don't
force be
know.
with you.
May the force
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, but I think peace sounded good, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep it
yeah.
as that. All right. So
Bye,
long, everyone.
Shannon.
Bye.